My name is Cadet First Class Briana Barnett, and I will be your host for tonight's opening ceremony. First, I'd like to give another hand to the Sabre Drill team for that great performance. Welcome to Polaris Hall, the centerpiece of the Academy's Center for Character and Leadership Development. Thank you all so much for coming to this year's Academy Assembly. After a year of virtual conferences and classes, we're so excited to be able to host this event with the participation of external delegates. I would now like to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Jason Egger, the Deputy Department Head for Political Science, to the stage to make some opening remarks.
Boy. All right, so good evening, and I'd like to offer.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Egger. I would now like to turn it over to Dr. Ulrich, Distinguished Visiting Professor of Political Science and Professor of Government at the United States Army War College, and the Faculty Advisor for this year's event, to make some opening remarks. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Egger, for sharing that history of the Air Force Academy Assembly. As Bree said, I'm Professor Mary Beth Ulrich, the Faculty Director of the 63rd Air Force Academy Assembly.
As you all have heard, we endeavored to uncover the intricacies of maintaining democratic values around the world. Thank you all so much for engaging in such thoughtful discussion. Now, I will turn it over to our esteemed Cadet Director, Cadet First Class Bree Barnett.
Thank you, Isaac, and thank you to all of our roundtable leaders. 2 short days ago, we gathered together and opened this year's Academy Assembly. And I can say I'm extremely proud when I look out and see over 120 minds that share common interest. External delegates and cadets alike, all of you will be taking on leadership roles very soon. Roles that may very well influence our future as a country. And your investment in this week's events shows a dedication to that future. Since January, my team and I have thought hard about what we would present at this year's Academy Assembly in a manner that was safe and conducive to facilitating engaging conversations. I hope that everyone can walk away from this week with a greater understanding of what you can do to make a difference in preserving democracy at home and abroad. And I hope, too, that you can stay in touch with each other and continue to share ideas as we return to our respective campuses. I would like to end by thanking several individuals who have made this assembly possible. First, I would like to thank the Dean of Faculty, Brigadier General Latendra, and the Head of the Political Science Department, Colonel Krieger, for their leadership and support in this event. I would like to thank this year's Academy Assembly faculty staff, our Faculty Advisor, Dr. Ulrich, in the front, the Assistant, yes, please, thank you. The Assistant Faculty Advisors, Lieutenant Colonel Gingras and Captain Hightower. And other faculty, Dr. Riley and Lieutenant Colonel Alexander, who have all helped put this event together and make it possible. I also extend my great appreciation to all of the faculty and staff who have supported this event as roundtable leaders. This event would not be possible without your help, and I know you guys really led those conversations well because I was able to sit in on a few. So can we give them a round of applause? I would like to end by thanking my cadet staff who has worked for countless hours to put this together. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have such a great event. I would like to single out my 2 co-directors, C1C Colin Jared-Izzy and C1C Sam Thompson, who have been, yes. Sam is not here, you will see her tonight. Who have been working with me since January to put this together. And our staff of 28 people who have put in over 1,000 man-hours to ensure that our visiting and cadet delegates would be able to have the best educational experience possible. On behalf of my staff, and the cadets who have volunteered in the Air Force Academy, we would thank you for joining us today. For those of you attending the closing banquet at the golf course, the shuttles will be departing from the mailroom or the bottom of the core values ramp at 1600 and 1630. We encourage all cadets to carpool or to take the 1600 shuttle. As a reminder, the dress for the banquet is business formal attire for civilian delegates and service dress for cadets. And our social event will begin approximately at 16:45. The dinner will be served at 17:15. I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you. You are dismissed.
General Jane and General Murray, who are all here joining us tonight. Thank you all so much for being a part of tonight's events. I am Cadet First Class Briana Barnett, the 63rd Academy Assembly Cadet Director, and it is my honor, and on behalf of Superintendent, Lieutenant General Richard Clark, and the Dean of Faculty, Brigadier General Linnell Latundra, and the Department of Political Science, I am pleased to welcome you to the closing banquet of the 63rd Academy Assembly and the 2021 President Harry S. Truman Distinguished Lecture on National Security Policy. First, I would like to take this time to thank a couple of people. The Dean of Faculty, Brigadier General Linnell Latundra, and the Head of the Department of Political Science, Colonel Marion Krieger, for the leadership and support of this event. I would like to thank this year's Academy Assembly Faculty Advisor, Dr. Mary Beth Ulrich. As many of you know, this is a piece of the Tizo marble. Dr. Ulrich has done so much for this year's event. She is a distinguished visiting faculty member from the U.S. Army War College, and we're so excited to be able to have her work with us this year. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to take this moment to thank Lieutenant Colonel Gingras. So you had to know by the way I was making eye contact with you. So thank you so much for all of your help with this year's event. And finally, I would like to take this moment. Yes, sir, you see me. We're making eye contact. I know this one's for you. We went over this before the event. Captain Hightower, who has done so much for this year's event. Sir, thank you so much. I would also like to recognize my assistant directors, C1C Colin Jared Izzy, and our assistant director for content, and C1C Samantha Thompson, our assistant director for logistics. Please stand. I would also like to extend my thanks and recognize the 28 cadet staff who have worked over 1,000 hours to put this together. Please stand if you're on staff. We are so grateful to have the Olmsted Foundation for generously supporting this year's Academy Assembly, and the Falcon Foundation, for which I'm actually personally very grateful. I was a Falcon Foundation scholar. I'm able to attend the United States Air Force Academy because of the Falcon Foundation, because of their scholarship, for supporting this year's lecture. Welcome to the Cadets in Political Science 211 who are watching this remotely. Thank you guys. I would like to invite the 63rd Academy Assembly Faculty Director, Dr. Mary Beth Ulrich, to the podium.
We're done here because the club is a bit short-staffed. They're going to stick around and wash dishes for all of us. Yeah. That is an example of it makes me proud. It really does. And it says so much about who you are and what this means to you, but mostly just the character demonstrated here. And I'm eternally proud of all of you. But you're great representatives of us, for us, so thank you for that. Just about to start crying here. I won't. I'll save it for when I get back in this. Thank you guys. And I think you guys have been working on this since January to get us ready for this. So just an absolutely amazing job. And you know, I keep on rolling and I need to get to my notes, but you're a poli-sci, philosophy, and French. Is that right? Okay. I won't tell you what I did here, but you must have more hours in the day than I do to do all the things that you do and to study the way that you have and to pull this off as a leader. So I am just so impressed and proud of you. So thank you for leading. One more round of applause. This entire Academy Assembly, because you will grapple with these things from the minute you walk out of this door for the rest of your lives. And I've been looking forward to this lecture, and I know you have too. So now it's time for me to get out of the way, take a seat, start crying for pride for what this team has done. And to Dr. Larry Diamond, I want to thank you, sir, for being so gracious to come and join us and to share your wisdom. So now I will turn it back over to Bree to introduce our guest.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words. The 2021 Truman Lecture marks the conclusion of the 63rd Academy Assembly, which the topic was Preserving the City on the Hill, Rebuilding Democracy at Home and Abroad. The Truman Lecture series was established in 1994 at the request of and with generous support by the Honorable Harold C. Stewart through an endowment provided to the Falcon Foundation. The Truman Lecture program is designed to enhance cadet professional development and leadership by exposure to a nationally known and distinguished figure who has impacted U.S. national security. Tonight, we are honored to have with us such a figure whose research on democracy has been invaluable to the preservation of democracy worldwide, Dr. Larry Diamond. Dr. Diamond is a Bass University Fellow in undergraduate education at Stanford University. He leads the Hoover Institution's programs on China's global sharp power and on Taiwan in the Indo-Pacific region. He leads the program on Arab reform and democracy, and he is the founding co-editor of the Journal of Democracy. And he also serves as the senior consultant at the International Forum for Democratic Studies of the National Endowment of Democracy. Tonight, we are honored to have with us Dr. Diamond. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Larry Diamond. Also, to practice for the Q&A portion, you may raise your hand and stand up to ask your question. You will also be getting questions online via the QR code from our virtual delegates. Thank you.
This glass of water
To ask your question. You will also be getting questions online via the QR code from our virtual delegates. Thank you.
This glass of water is going to go down here. Cadet Barnett, thank you for your very warm and gracious introduction. But most of all, for the amazing work that you, and I don't know if it's after you 27 or 28 of your cadet colleagues have done over these 2 days. I deeply regret that I've only been here for one of them. This is actually the first in-person lecture that I've given outside of Stanford since the dawn of the COVID pandemic.
We will now be opening it up to questions. Like I said, this is going to be a hybrid format, so please raise your hand and we will take in 1 question in person and 1 question online.
You call on people?
Yes, I'm going to bring in the microphone.
Guilty.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your question. So your next question comes from C2C Chase Thatcher from the United States Air Force Academy. And Chase asks, you mentioned how imperative it is to reinstate norms of civility and restraint when it comes to social media. What progress have you seen thus far on this front, or what to you is the most promising way forward in achieving said reinstatement of civility in the age of Somebody at your table has already said the word. Social media.
So there are a lot of hopeful things.
Dr. Diamond, thank you so much for your valuable time this evening, and for the Dean of Faculty and the entire Cadet Wing. We would like to extend our appreciation to you by sharing with you a piece of our Chizo. Cadets enter into the United States Air Force Academy and on our journey to become an Air Force officer. As part of their training, each of the freshmen are required to run the strips. You never cut a corner or take a shortcut. So, sir, the foundation of this memento is made with a piece of that very marble. It represents the foundation of the Air Force Academy and our training and the continuity of the long blue line of the officers that have come before us and the officers that will come after. So, sir, thank you so much for your time. On behalf of the Falcon Foundation and Cadet Wing, thank you.
I want to thank you, and I'm going to say something very honestly. Of all the gifts I've been given, and I've been doing this for decades now, giving lectures in various places, this is far and away the heaviest.
This concludes our Truman Lecture and the United States Air Force Academy's 63rd Academy Assembly. Thank you all so much for joining us for this event. We appreciate your support, and I hope you guys have a safe journey back home. Thank you.